been a long time, hasn't it? It's been a while since I've reviewed a show. But we're here for Survivor Series 2023. And the unthinkable has happened. The unthinkable has happened, everybody. People all build towards Survivor Series. Everyone was saying it was gonna happen. Everyone was saying it's happening. Few people weren't believing it was gonna happen. I was one of them. I didn't believe it was gonna happen. A lot of people were not. Well, a lot of people were very confident it was gonna happen. And and what is that, you might be asking? Well, it is the return of the one, the only CM Punk. CM Punk is back in the land of WWE, and all I gotta say is, man, well, I didn't see that coming, that's for sure. Despite all the rumors and all the talk of him coming back, despite all the rumors, it was indeed true that CM Punk has returned. Now, I didn't really make many videos about CM Punk. I only made one video about him regarding about what I would think, and I believe that the only good thing about Punk coming back would be the potential opportunity of AJ Lee, his wife, coming back to WWE. And I'm hoping Royal Rumble 2024, we see AJ Lee coming back to WWE. Now, apparently CM Punk has signed a few years with WWE. I think I heard Tom Colhue say 2 years. The internet was saying 3 years. It must have been 3 years. I'm not 100% sure. Now, as much as I want to talk about CM Punk, we're going to talk about the rest of the... We're going to be talking about the other matches on the card. I'm not just going to spend this whole video talking about Punk. I will talk about Punk. I will talk about Punk in this video, but I will give my thoughts about him, about his comeback at the end. So, you guys just going to have to be patient about CM Punk. So, we started off the show with the women's Wargames match. And if I have to be completely honest here, and this is just my opinion, I feel WWE are kind of running out of ideas with these Wargames matches. Like, the Wargames matches, the concept, when it first came back, was exciting, and NXT did a really good job of showing the brutality of these matches, and I feel they're running out of ideas with what they could really do with these Wargames matches, because we saw a rehashed spot from Wargames this year, where Io put a bin on her head and jumped off the cage. We saw her do that in one of the Wargames matches in NXT. In my opinion, and you don't have to agree, but in my opinion, the NXT 2.0 Wargames match, the one involving the women, it is the best women's Wargames match. I feel like that's the best one out of all the girls. The one where Cora Jade dove off the Wargames cage through a table, where she also broke her arm, but she also got the pinfall win for her team. For her team against Team Toxic Attraction. In my opinion, that is the peak of women's Wargames matches, because it also created a new star in Cora Jade. But I even last year's Wargames, I didn't really feel it. I just didn't feel there was enough cool spots to really make the match feel big enough to make it feel really big, in my opinion. So I feel like they're starting to run out of ideas with these matches. Would I prefer these matches over the traditional Survivor Series? Absolutely yes. I would prefer these matches over the traditional Survivor Series matches, yes. But I feel they need to come up with more creativity. They need to be a bit more creative with these matches, and I don't think they've been really all that creative with them as of late. Everybody predicted that Cody Rhodes was going to do the moonsault off the War Games cage, but that ended up being Charlotte Flair. She ended up doing the moonsault off the top of the cage, but in the end, the babyface team gets the win. Becky delivers a manhandle slam to Bayley through the table to score the pinfall win for her team, and obviously a lot of fans are angry because Damage Control didn't win. Well, I'd hate to tell you guys, it makes sense through storyline perspective. Bayley is getting kicked out of Damage Control. She's getting kicked out of her own faction, and it just makes a lot of sense for Damage Control to lose the match. And Becky and Charlotte came together with a big old hug in the War Games cage, so it sounds like maybe they're finally getting back on the same page again. Maybe they've finally patched up their issues, and now they may be finally becoming good friends again. The women's War Games match was fine. It was pretty good, but in my opinion, the 2.0 women's War Games cage with Team Cora Jade and Team Toxic Attraction, in my opinion, is by far the best women's War Games cage match. They need to come up with more creativity, if you ask me. Next, we had Gunther versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship, and personally, this match I think this is by far Gunther's weakest title defense. Out of all of the title defenses, I think this is by far his weakest, and I'm not being biased because I don't like The Miz. I just personally did not like this one at all. I just think this is by far Gunther's weakest. Also, The Miz is supposed to be this triumphant babyface, but yet he's bloody low-blowing Gunther. But yet he's delivering low blows to this guy. Like, this is why Miz as a babyface doesn't work. Because he's supposed to be a face, but he continues to show heel tendencies. And this is why Miz as a babyface just never works for me, in my opinion. So in the end, Gunther wins by forcing The Miz to tap out to the walls of Gunther. So, yeah. And also, WWE acknowledged Chris Jericho as well by bringing up that he's a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. Next up, we have Santos Escobar, as how Carlito says his name, takes on Dragon Lee in a really fun match. A lot of people were saying both guys really couldn't afford a loss here, but ultimately I kind of disagree. Like, you could really have a good match, but make one guy look strong in defeat. This matchup between Santos and Dragon Lee was really good. I enjoyed it. It made sense for Santos Escobar to win the match. It made a lot of sense. You can't have Santos Escobar lose his first match now back as a heel. A lot of people also predicted Los Lotharios, Angel Garza, and Humberto Carrillo to kind of re-emerge on the main roster, because I heard rumors that they were coming back to the main roster. That clearly hasn't happened yet, but it very well still could happen, but maybe just not right now. Because I think they've got an NXT tag team title match on NXT coming up. Maybe after that they get called up. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, that's really all I can really say about that match. That's really all I can really say That's really all I can really say about that match, to be completely honest. I don't really have anything else to really say about it. Overall, I thought it was fine. Next was Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just not a fan of Zoe. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just not a fan of Zoe Stark. She's really darn boring in my opinion. She's just not that great. Rhea Ripley has had more title defenses than Roman Reigns has this year. Rhea Ripley has defended her title more times than Roman Reigns has this year. She's defended her title against Natalya twice, Raquel twice, for the Fatal 4-Way, and now tonight. That's about 6. And I think Roman's had about, 4 or 5 this year? So, Rhea has defended her title more times than Roman Reigns this year. But Rhea is supposedly the bad champion. She's supposedly the bad champion, and because she doesn't defend her title as often. And I find it so funny that the fans in 2021 and 2022 wanted WWE to push the Judgment Day, and in the year of 2023, the Judgment Day gets pushed. Now all of a sudden is, oh, I'm so sick of the Judgment Day. I'm sick of hearing, if you believe yours is the only way. Oh, I hate this song. I can't stand on the other side by Order Bridge now. I hate this song. It's so funny how everything changes when you get what you want. Everyone wanted the Judgment Day to be a strong, dominant faction, and when they get it, they don't want it anymore. Typical fans 101 right there. That is typical fans right there. So now we get to our main event, the men's War Games matches. Team Cody, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, and my boy Randy Orton making his return, taking on the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. Now, I did not like how they were hyping up Randy's return. They were all like, oh, is he here or not? Like, I didn't like that. I think keeping him to the end was not a smart decision, in my opinion. I just didn't like it, okay? I just thought, like, I get it. I heard the stories. They wanted to limit him in the ring. But at least still have him come out. At least still have him come out and be in the War Games cage. But, no, they wanted to do things completely differently. Ugh. But he did ultimately come out, though. Rhea was about to come out and use Damien's briefcase to cash in on Seth Rollins, because the War Games match didn't officially start. Because Randy wasn't there, Rhea was going to try and take advantage of this and try and take the world title off Seth. But Randy ultimately came out, and then he got in the ring, and then the War Games match officially started. Randy Orton would hit a devastating RKO to good old Dirty Dom. And then also JD McDonough was on top of the War Games cage, and Cody and Sammy threw him off, and then Randy caught him in midair with a beautiful RKO. I think that RKO could potentially top the one he did on Seth freaking Rollins. But in the end, everyone did stereo draping DDTs. Randy almost teased an RKO on Jey Uso. He almost teased an RKO on Jey Uso. He was going to RKO Drew, but then he turned over to Jey. Jey was shitting his pants. Randy was pointing at him. He's like, don't think I've forgotten what you did to me. And then Jey's all like, I'm sorry, Uso. I'm sorry. He's all begging off, and he's like saying, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm so sorry, Uso. And then Jey then saved Randy from a Claymore kick. And then Randy would hit the RKO again. Drew would get Haluva kicked, and Uso splashed. Finn, I can't remember what happened to Finn. I think he got Cody cutted. That's what happened to him. He got Cody cutted, and Damian Priest was pretty much was defeating Lamb. He gets crossroads, and that is the victory for Team Cody. I want Cody and Randy to win the tag team titles. I would love to see them become tag team champions, in my opinion. I want to see them become tag team champions, because I think having them become the tag team champions would be really, really darn awesome, in my opinion. I think giving them a brief run with the tag team titles would be pretty damn cool. And then at the end of the show, Cult of Personality plays a completely different version of Cult of Personality, not the one we're used to hearing when he was last in WWE and when he was in AEW. A completely different alternative version of Cult of Personality, and CM Punk walks out to a massive ovation, and Seth Rollins is really furious, and apparently Drew McIntyre stormed out of the Wargames cage and was pretty furious. So CM Punk is off to, so things are off to a really great start. Seth Rollins is pissed that CM Punk is back. Drew McIntyre reportedly walked out of the arena. So we're off to a great start with CM Punk returning already. Yeah, we're off to a great start. So my overall thoughts of CM Punk returning to the company, sure, it was a great moment. I still can't say I care for the guy. But it was awesome. It was an awesome moment, and it was an awesome moment. That's really all I can really say. Sure, I was a fan of Punk growing up. But Punk has got a lot, in my eyes, he's got a lot of proving to do. He's got a lot of things to prove. If he has indeed signed a 3-year contract with WWE, he has got to prove himself that he will not throw a temper tantrum, he will not get mad over creative issues, he will not cause backstage arguments, he will not cause any backstage drama. Like, for me to accept Punk, he has to be a professional throughout the entire 3 years he is there. Because ultimately, of all the shit that he has been talking so much shit about WWE ever since he walked out. And to see him just come back to the company that he berated for so long just makes him come off as a bit of a hypocrite, if you ask me. But never say never, I guess. But I'm hoping that we get to see AJ Lee return as well to the land of WWE, because that is one of my next hopes. My next hope is that we get to see AJ Lee. So thank you all so much for joining me for this review of Survivor Series. You guys let me know your thoughts down below about CM Punk's return and your thoughts on the entire card overall, and I will see you all next time.